Friends, we're all back together for the next episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sarah, and I'm a junior in high school.
This is her mother. I'm Matilde Fiddler, and I'm so grateful to be on the podcast with you today, Scott.
How would you like to share a type 1 diabetes getaway like no other? Join me on Juice Cruise 2026. You may be asking, what is Juice Cruise? It's a week-long cruise designed specifically for people and families living with type 1 diabetes. It's not just a vacation, it's a chance to relax, connect, and feel understood in a way that is hard to find elsewhere. We're going to sail out of Miami, and the cruise includes stops in Coco Cay, San Juan, St. Kitts, and Nevis, aboard the stunning Celebrity Beyond. This ship is chosen for its comfort, accessibility, and exceptional amenities. You're going to enjoy a welcoming environment surrounded by others who get life with type 1 diabetes. I'm going to host diabetes-focused conversations and meetups on the days at sea. There's thoughtfully designed spaces, incredible dining, and modern amenities all throughout the Celebrity Beyond. Your kids can be supervised, and there's teen programs, so everyone gets time to recharge. Not just the kids going on vacation, but maybe you get to kick back a little bit too. There's going to be zero judgment, real connections, and a whole lot of sun and fun on Juice Cruise 2026. Please come with me. You're going to have a terrific time. You can learn more or set up your deposit at juiceboxpodcast.com/juicecruise. Get a hold of Suzanne at Cruise Planners. She will take care of everything. Links in the show notes, links at juiceboxpodcast.com. If you're looking for community around type 1 diabetes, check out the Juicebox Podcast private Facebook group, Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes. But everybody is welcome. Type 1, Type 2, gestational, loved ones, it doesn't matter to me. If you're impacted by diabetes and you're looking for support, comfort, or community, check out Juicebox Podcast, Type 1 Diabetes on Facebook. Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. The episode you're about to listen to was sponsored by Touched by Type 1. Go check them out right now on Facebook, Instagram, and of course at touchedbytype1.org. Check out that programs tab when you get to the website to see all the great things that they're doing for people living with type 1 diabetes. Touchedbytype1.org. Today's episode is also sponsored by the Tandem Mobi system, which is powered by Tandem's newest algorithm, Control-IQ Plus technology. Tandem Mobi has a predictive algorithm that helps prevent highs and lows and is now available for ages 2 and up. Learn more and get started today at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. The podcast is also sponsored today by Eversense 365, the only 1-year wear CGM. That's one insertion and one CGM a year. One CGM, 1 year. Not every 10 or 14 days. EversenseCGM.com/juicebox.
Hi, everyone. My name's Sarah, and I'm a junior in high school.
And somebody else is with us. Who else is here?
This is her mother. I'm Matilde Fiddler. I'm a Miami native, and I'm so grateful to be on the podcast with you today, Scott.
Matilde, did you make Sarah come on, or did she want to?
I actually asked to come on.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's figure out why all this is happening. Who should we talk to first? Well, who has diabetes?
I do.
Sarah does. How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 13 when I was diagnosed. I was going into the summer of, I was in my summer going into 8th grade. And yeah, that's when I was diagnosed.
And now you're a junior?
Yes.
Okay. How would you say it's going when you think about your diabetes? Like where do you think you're at?
I think I'm very controlled. I also put a lot of hard work to control my numbers. But I'm really lucky because I haven't had any other health complications come out of it. And overall, I'd say I'm pretty stable and I'm able to live the life that I lived before being diagnosed.
Yeah. Okay. What do you remember about being diagnosed, Mom? How did it come on? What did you see first?
what happened was I took the kids because I have another daughter. So both of my daughters, my other daughter is 14 and Sarah's 16 right now. I took them to the annual visit at the pediatrician. And it happened to be that day we were seeing a new pediatrician. And my daughter did the annual pee-pee in the cup. And she came back and she goes, your daughter, no, she goes to me, let me do a finger stick. She did the finger stick and she said immediately, your daughter has diabetes. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? Like shocked. My daughter had never had one symptom. Her blood sugar at that visit was 240.
Okay.
She had a bagel and, prior to going to the doctor, the reason I had moved that pediatric visit to that day is because both of my daughters were leaving to sleepaway camp for 3 weeks in 3 days.
Sarah, did you go?
No, I did not end up going.
Okay. Do you remember that moment the way your mom remembers it?
I remember the same thing.
Yeah. Do you remember being
I remember
shocked?
going to the hospital after and being really confused and nervous.
Confused and nervous. And Matilda, are you married?
I am.
Okay. Did you call your husband right away?
I did. He too was super confused. He had to pick up my other daughter, Sophie, and I took my daughter to the local. They suggested go straight to the ER, the pediatric ER. And fortunately, we knew a nurse that has been at that institute for many, many years. So she immediately treated us like VIP. Mm-hmm. Immediately, they saw my daughter. When they checked her blood sugar, I think she was at that point, let's call it like 160, right? So they said they took us right away from there to meet the endocrinology team. And I was, let me tell you, a wreck. Like, I think about it and I can't even believe how it was very emotional. But I wanted to come on today to tell you what a fabulous experience we had, because I know so many of your listeners have had such rough diagnosis stories, mm-hmm. and they got so little support. And we did not have that experience. My daughter was taken by the endocrinologist. Immediately, they explained to us that she was in the honeymoon, initially. And within 2 hours of being at that appointment, they put the Dexcom on her.
Okay.
How's
it feel, Sarah, to hear your mom feel so emotional about all this? And have you seen that emotion from her before or since?
I haven't really seen that emotion from her since I was diagnosed. She always is super strong about it. Encourages me to be strong about it too. And I feel like a big part of me getting through this was because of my mom and all the help she gave me, because she still is my partner in managing this.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful to her for that.
Do you have a similar feeling like when you think back on your diagnosis, or are you listening to her right now and thinking, wow, this is what it feels like to have a kid, apparently?
No, when I think back at it, yeah, I got a little upset because in the beginning I was really confused on why me. I've never had a health issue in my life.
Right.
Up until that point, I was the healthiest person ever. So I was very confused why this was showing up now. And I don't know, I was concerned about if people were gonna look at me differently. And I remember being concerned then people were gonna think I ate too much or something like that, because there's a bunch of misconceptions with diabetes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But obviously there's a difference between type 1 and type 2.
Has that been an issue? Did you have friends or acquaintances that misunderstood your situation?
Yeah, still, honestly, to this day, people ask me like, "Oh, like you can't. I mean, does that mean you can't eat sugar? Blah blah." Like, and it kind of annoys me. But I mean, honestly, it's not really their fault because they just haven't been educated on the topic. So whenever something like that occurs, I take a moment to educate people.
Good. Okay. So you don't get upset. You just realize there's no way for them to know, and you help them.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Does it make you feel good, Matilda, to hear that she's having such an even response when people talk to her like that?
I'm extremely grateful. I want you to understand, and other parents to understand, that it's a very steep learning curve, and there was a lot of support. We had therapists involved from the get-go. We had nutritionists involved from the get-go to really help us with that steep learning curve and to give us that support that we needed so that our living life and enjoying life momentum didn't stop.
Let's figure out how you figured all this out. So there's some education in the hospital. And then what happens? Is there outpatient education after that? Do you go back to the hospital afterwards?
So what happened? Because she was so low, like her A1C at that point of diagnosis was 6.0.
Mm-hmm.
Her blood sugar, as we all know, 240 isn't that high. That's like, to get caught at that, to be diagnosed and found out at, when you have zero symptoms, zero, is like a blessing and like crazy how that happened.
That doctor's appointment was just well timed, really.
Correct.
Luckily, yeah.
Correct. And then, they sent us home. They gave us the prescriptions for the insulin. They're like, don't use it yet until you need it. And, so we got the insulin, the whatever at that time, I think of Humalog Jr. And you're like staring at it like, when am I supposed to use this? Mm-hmm. So what happened is she ended up getting, let's call it a month or so later, a tonsillitis. And they put her on prednisone. And that's when the party started. The 300 blood sugar. And so then we had to do the first time the insulin. I wish, and I think Sarah agrees with me, because they had us initially on a very carb strict diet, which in my opinion can cause like eating dysfunction, because she was on, let's call it, I think if I can recall, 30 carbs, nothing.
A day?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did that for, I don't know, let's call it like a month-ish. It's a blur, but maybe max 2 months. And then finally, thank God, the prednisone thing happened. We had to introduce the insulin injections and to start bringing that blood sugar down. And then she was super skinny. Yeah. Imagine. And she's tall. My daughter right now is 5'9".
Yeah.
And she weighs like less than 130 pounds,
Sarah, I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
This one might seem out of left field. Do you get tonsillitis a lot?
No.
No?
That was the only time I've ever gotten it. And also, Mom, you said something about eating dysfunction. I just want to make it clear I've never had an eating disorder, to those listening. And I think it was like 30 carbs per meal. I don't know about per day.
So it's interesting. The way you remember it, Mom, is that somebody told you to kind of restrict your carbs, to go lower carb.
Yes.
Do you remember that time as particularly difficult?
Yeah, it was super annoying. Like I had to watch everything I was putting in my mouth.
Right.
And honestly, like looking back on it, like I should have just been able to eat what I wanted and just given insulin for it.
Yeah. You didn't quite understand that at that point. And who gave you that?
Honestly, I still don't see the purpose in that.
Right.
Like what? I don't understand.
Who gave you that information?
An endocrinologist.
The endocrinologist. Okay. Matilda, let me ask you a question, because you said something earlier. A lot of people do this. They come on and they tell me how great their doctors are, and then they tell stories for an hour about how the information they got wasn't great. When you tell me that you were lucky that you got started well, what does that mean to you? When you think of a CGM and all the good that it brings in your life, is the first thing you think about, I love that I have to change it all the time? I love the warm-up period every time I have to change it. I love that when I bump into a door frame, sometimes it gets ripped off. I love that the adhesive kind of gets mushy sometimes when I sweat and falls off. No, these are not the things that you love about a CGM. Today's episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Eversense 365, the only CGM that you only have to put on once a year, and the only CGM that won't give you any of those problems. The Eversense 365 is the only one-year CGM designed to minimize device frustration. It has exceptional accuracy for 1 year with almost no false alarms from compression lows while you're sleeping. You can manage your diabetes instead of your CGM with the Eversense 365. Learn more and get started today at eversensecgm.com/juicebox. 1 year, one CGM. Let's talk about the Tandem Mobi insulin pump from today's sponsor, Tandem Diabetes Care. Their newest algorithm, Control-IQ Plus technology, and the new Tandem Mobi pump offer you unique opportunities to have better control. It's the only system with auto bolus that helps with missed meals and preventing hyperglycemia. The only system with a dedicated sleep setting, and the only system with off or on body wear options. Tandem Mobi gives you more discretion, freedom, and options for how to manage your diabetes. This is their best algorithm ever, and they'd like you to check it out at tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. When you get to my link, you're going to see integrations with Dexcom sensors and a ton of other information that's going to help you learn about Tandem's tiny pump that's big on control. tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox. The Tandem Mobi system is available for people ages 2 and up who want an automated delivery system to help them sleep better, wake up in range, and address high blood sugars with auto bolus.
It means to me that they gave her immediately the technology, the true diagnosis. Like there was no, immediately I knew my kid had type 1. Like how many times parents are like, I don't know what they had. Maybe they have this. So I knew right away her diagnosis. She was introduced to me, the Dexcom is life-changing technology immediately on her body. Plus, I had the insulin. Now, with what you're saying is true, the diabetic educator put her on that carb-restrictive diet, which I agree, it was no good. That's where parents, it's incumbent on the parents to educate themselves. And that's where you, Scott, are a blessing in my life.
Oh.
I can't tell you the amount of how you changed the course of learning what you did with Arden and learning with the Bold Beginnings series and listening to other parents and type 1 people share their stories. That's how I learned.
Oh, I'm glad. That is lovely. I am so happy that you've figured that out. But I want to go back and just put a kind of a cherry on that other idea. You feel like you were treated well in the beginning because you got a firm, correct answer as far as a diagnosis goes. Someone showed you technology and didn't make you wait for it. That really is what you consider to be a great start.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's valid, by the way. I just wanted to, I think sometimes people hear that and they think that, they got some magical doctor who, knew everything. But you're just saying, look, I just got a good firm, foundation and a good start on all this. Then you went off and found other information. So how long after her diagnosis did you think to yourself, I have to go find other information? I don't have enough to do what I need to do.
I would say very quickly. Initially, you feel very alone. Right? Because you're like, and I was so grateful that I was introduced to other mothers in my area, in the Miami area, a group of 3 ladies. I could message them. And one of the questions that I found so impactful or realizations that I found so impactful was one day I texted a mom and I said, wait a minute. This is a disease that the goalpost is constantly moving. And she goes, bingo. Yeah. That was a hard pill to swallow.
Right. not to think you couldn't just figure it out, write it down, and keep doing it. That it was going to keep changing. And did you pass that on to Sarah? Like, as you learned things about it, how do you remember your mom bringing you back information? And were you looking for information on your own, or were you counting on her?
Honestly, I counted a lot on my mom. And I remember she started listening to your podcast and she would tell me things about it. And we used some of your tips and whatever, etc. And that really started to help us. And also I met the mothers that my mom was referring to earlier. I met like their daughters who were younger than me. But it was nice to see that other people were going through the same thing I was. So that was really helpful.
Okay, so your mom brought you information and you found other people in a similar situation and made you feel a little more comfortable while you were figuring it out, there was a feeling that you could get to some sort of an answer because those girls were doing well. Is that the idea?
Yeah, since I saw them doing well, I knew I was going to be fine. And honestly, I was fine. So it just brought a lot of comfort.
Okay, awesome. And you use what now? You have a CGM, I heard Dexcom, but do you have a pump?
I use the Dexcom G7 and Fiasp, multiple injections, and Tresiba at night.
Okay, so you're using pens.
Correct.
Awesome. And you've been doing that for how long?
It was ever since I've
been diagnosed.
Started using the injections after I had the prednisone.
Tell me why you don't have a pump.
I don't like having multiple devices on my body.
Okay. So it's about real estate for you and not hanging more stuff.
Yes, correct. And I'm doing fine with the injection. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. How are you doing? What's your A1C right now?
Oof. Well, actually, in my last blood work, they forgot to do my A1C.
How is that possible, sir? What the heck?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But on the Dexcom, it says like about 6.2.
Good for you. That's awesome. Do you have a lot of lows or protracted highs that you can't get down for hours at a time? Or is that not your day usually?
Like, not really. But normally when I have a high, I can get it down pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. It just gets more challenging when it's at night. If I've eaten something carb heavy or like that'll hit later in the night, that's when it gets a little tricky. Yeah. So I also have another insulin for that. Mom, what is it called?
Scott, I can't remember.
Is it the inhalable?
It's going to come to,
I think it's something with an L. Lyomjev or something?
Lumjev?
Yes.
Okay. So you're using...
It's an older insulin, correct?
No, it's a newer one. Lumjev and Fiasp are the two faster acting insulins. Why do you have both? Is it not that maybe? Lispro?
May I interject?
Please.
It's the one she uses for nighttime. And I have to think about the name.
Lantus?
Novolin. Novolin.
All right. Well, who set you up with that?
Integrated Diabetes, which was also introduced to us by you, Scott, through the amazing Gary Shiner. I also use their services for when we need additional support and education and normalizing.
Yeah.
We use Tavia.
Oh, sure. Oh, I'm going to see her in a couple of weeks.
She told me to tell you hello because we talked with her yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, she and I are doing a private event together in like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
So she suggested, let's say Sarah goes out to party, and then she eats late at night and then goes to sleep. She suggested the Novolin because it's a slower acting insulin that doesn't have a quick onset and it stays in the body longer. Mm-hmm. Am I saying, is it the Novolin? Am I right about that one?
I mean, you're asking me what you're doing?
No, I think we don't do it that much.
Okay.
It's occasional, because she doesn't go out at night all the time and eat late at night all the time.
So what did they give it to you for? Because it's
slower acting and it stays in the body longer. So if you eat, let's call it like a pizza late at night, it can help with her control. We don't do it all the time. Mm-hmm. But the cool thing with it is that you can get it at Walmart with no prescription. It's super strange because it's an old...
It's R insulin, right? Novolin R? That's what you're talking about? Regular.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
We don't use it that much. Obviously, look, we don't even remember the name.
But if you get a sticky high, Sarah, you use that?
Yes.
Okay. Sarah, when your mom says going out to party, she means watching Disney princess films and eating Cheetos, right? What is she talking
Exactly.
about? Yeah. Are you in Miami?
Yes.
Oh, is it hard to live in Miami and be a kid?
No, it's great.
It's great. I was just there.
Really?
Last year and again this year, I'm taking a group of listeners on a cruise in June, and it goes out of the Miami port. We're using a different cruise ship this year than we used last year, and the cruise company wanted me to see it. So I went and did a cruise with my wife right before Christmas. So we were in Miami for the night, then went to the port and headed out, and then came back that way. So I didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but it's a nice place. So, and I know people who have lived there. But the partying is it's Miami, right? Like you're out, there's get-togethers, you've got to kind of deal with things. It's
more like casual get-togethers that sometimes go late. So if I end up I probably end up getting a little hungry at the end.
A little meal. Yeah. I hear you.
Exactly.
And you're doing that. Okay. When you carry your stuff, how do you carry like a pen? Is it just in your purse or what do you do?
I have like a huge it's not huge. It's this black pouch with a bunch of compartments where I keep my juice, my Gvoke hypo pen, and my main insulin in a little Sharps box, and just all my supplies, my alcohol pads, my needles, everything. So that's my pouch for school. And if I'm going somewhere nicer, I'll just put my stuff in a purse.
Okay. And you pre-bolus your meals or no? Does the Fiasp work fast enough?
Whenever I can.
What does that mean, Sarah?
In the morning before school, I can pre-bolus. At school, I cannot pre-bolus. It's very difficult because I don't know what I'm going to be eating.
Okay. And you don't want to shoot twice. Like you don't want to give yourself a little bit, then figure out what you're eating and give yourself the rest. Or
honestly, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. So if you don't mind injecting, then I would pick an amount of carbs that you know for sure you're going to eat, hit that as a pre-bolus, and then when you settle on food, just put the rest of it in.
Well, that's very smart.
Thank you.
I'm going to do that.
All right, try that. See how that
works. Because I have a lot of trouble keeping not a lot of trouble, but I typically spike when I'm in school.
Yeah, because you're probably bolusing while you're eating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's see if that works for you.
I'll try it.
That's a tip that parents use for little kids because it's a similar idea. Little kids sometimes sit down and don't eat. And so people are like, well, I can't pre-bolus because sometimes the kid doesn't eat anything or they take a couple bites. And I ended up saying like years ago, like there must be something, they're going to eat. And I remember our mom saying, well, like they'll eat at least 5 carbs. I'm like, well, pre-bolus 5 carbs then, and then get the insulin on your side, get it moving, helping you, and then put the rest in later. That's all. Well, good for you. Well, I guess we're fixing a problem. No other autoimmune in the family? Thyroid, celiac, anything?
No, Scott, my father did have diabetes. He was diagnosed in his, let's call it late 30s, early 40s. I always remember seeing needles, syringes, insulin in my home as a child, young, teenager. But I never understood. I never knew anything about blood sugar. I never knew even the range. I never even knew what insulin did. My father has passed approximately like 5 years ago. So I was, and he did pass from diabetic related complications that eventually resulted in congestive heart disease. My instinct, because I would go with him to a lot of doctor's appointments and I have like little memories that pop in my head.
Yeah.
I think my father had type 1.5. Can I confirm? No. But it was like my father was an athlete, always exercised, always jogged. And so who knows? I'll never really know.
You're never going to know. Yeah.
He was uncontrolled due to numerous things. The technology that it was available at the time, due to his personality, that he loved the wine, the cheese, the meat, whatever, like all the stuff, the good life.
How old was he when he passed?
70.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know, right? Like if he was misdiagnosed or, what was the management like? Just insulin?
For him?
Yeah.
I recall never did he ever in my life, when we would go out to eat, never did he have insulin on his person. He would check the blood sugar at home in the morning and at night. My father loved juice. Imagine. Like
just fruit juices, orange juice, grapefruit, that kind of thing.
Juice,
Yeah.
all the juices,
Just all
which
the
is
juices.
like, hello, the worst thing ever. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you talked about in your note about grief, and I was wondering, was that for both of you, or Mom, was it just for you? What was what happened? How did you work through it?
Yes. As it relates to, there definitely was grief for my daughter, feeling because, I didn't want her to carry that responsibility and burden.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very difficult. But with that being said, I'm a person that I can be brokenhearted, but I keep it moving and I keep it cute. I keep it moving and I keep it good. And I can be devastated, but I get up, I do my hair, I go get dressed nice, and I'm like, that's how I am.
Yeah. Sarah, is that how you see your mom? Is it like surprising to you to know that she experienced grief after your diagnosis, or were you not even aware of that?
No, it's not surprising to hear now, but because it's true. I guess she was going through that kind of thing, but she did keep it moving and she kept it cute. Mm-hmm. So.
And how about you, Sarah? Did you feel grief?
Yeah, I remember being a little sad.
Stuck to you for a while. What do you think helped it go away? Time or something someone said or did?
Maybe like time, honestly. Because when you first get diagnosed, it's just a big shock. And like my mom spoke about earlier, it's a big learning curve. So once you learn about those things, and I feel like a big part of this disease is trial and error. Mm-hmm. And you have to go with your gut a lot in this disease.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a number game, honestly. And maybe your doctor will tell you to stick to a specific formula, but I'm just going to tell you right now, you can't always listen to your doctor. Like, this sounds horrible, but you have to do what's best for you as well. Like, if that means giving some extra insulin, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. You think maybe that's a starting point and they're hoping you'll figure the rest of that out? Or do you think that they don't know that there should be, like, what's your experience been when you've gone back to your doctor and said, hey, look, I gave myself more insulin here, or I've changed my settings? Do they generally seem supportive of that?
Yes, they do. But I'm in a different situation than some of their other patients, because I think the normal, how many times a year do I have to go visit their mom?
She, because of her well-controlled numbers and her responsibility, she normally only goes to the endo now in person once a year.
Yeah, that's what
we do. The labs. They come to my house. I pay a little money, and the lady comes to my house and pulls her blood, and we do the diabetic educator appointments virtually for the most part. But Sarah's also a youth ambassador through Breakthrough Type 1. So we see her endo like at events too,
Yeah.
I have to tell you something, Scott. This is the most important thing that I want you to impart to the parents. You taught me what to do when you send your kid to school, right?
Okay.
So when my daughter was diagnosed, the first thing she told me was this: Mommy, I cannot be like this one girl that goes to my school that has a nurse walking behind her, carrying her book bag and giving her snacks. She was like, I beg you. She was like petrified.
That was her situation.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I was like scrambling. So I looked in your podcast, like school, what to do in school. So I learned from you that when your daughter was a baby, I don't even know, second grade or third grade, you're like, forget it. We're going to handle this between my kid and I. We don't need the nurse. We don't need anybody else. We got it. So I said to myself, okay, immediately when it was time for her to inject herself, I'm like, you have to do it. You have to do it. I'll text you. We'll text each other. You're going out? Text me.
Mm-hmm.
Because the biggest thing that I learned from you, Scott, is that you cannot take away the kid from the classroom because they miss instructional time.
Yeah, no kidding.
And the public school my kid was at the time, the rule was if I signed up for nursing services, she would have to go to the nurse 3 times a day, in the morning, in lunch, and at night. I mean, and the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Who has time for that?
Yeah, no, you miss a lot of instruction that way, and you can easily just create a gap. Sarah, the thing your mom's talking about is that when my daughter was in 2nd grade, there was a prescribed time that she had to go see the nurse, and it was in preparation for eating. But what no one realized is that she was leaving every day as the math lesson was being taught. And it's just the way the teacher had the day set up. She'd hand out the math lesson, and just a couple of moments later, Arden would have to leave. A timer would go off on her phone. She'd stand up and leave. And Arden was missing the direction every day for the math lesson. And she had fallen pretty far behind to the point where we thought, honestly, Sarah, we thought she was just a little stupid. You know what I mean? And because it had gotten pretty far out of hand, we were like, oh, Arden's not good at math. And luckily, and she lived the whole year like that, 2nd grade. And then luckily in 3rd grade, her 2nd grade teacher did that thing where she leveled up with the whole class. So the whole class had the same teacher 2 years in a row. And then the math lesson moved to a different time in the schedule. And early on in 3rd grade, the teacher called me and she said, oh my God, Scott, she's like, Arden's not bad at math. I figured out what happened. And she told me. And it took Arden a while to catch up, and she did. But it still sticks to her. Like, she's 21 right now. She'll be 22 this summer. And no matter how good she is at school, and she's doing very well, and she's fine with math and everything, you can still see in the back of her head, she thinks she's not good at math. Like, it's a thing that stuck to her after all that time. So not only did it slow her down in 2nd and 3rd grade, but it impacted her moving forward. And, you can't miss school. Like, you don't know what it is you're going to miss exactly. I'm glad that worked out for you. So you guys just texted each other and handled it that way.
Yeah, we texted each other. The school made me, when I selected to be the 529, where she would get extended time for tests and so forth, they said to me, well, if you waive the nursing services, I opted to waive the nursing services because I didn't want my kid to go 3 times a day to the nurse.
Yeah.
And I told them, they're like, well, if there's an emergency, I said, you know what? If there's an emergency, call 911 before you call me. Treat my kid like another kid.
That's exactly what I told them. It didn't mean I don't want the nurse if she falls and breaks her arm or she has a seizure or something like that. I want the nurse. I'm just saying I don't think we need her to be there on a schedule constantly. Like, we can take care of bolusing for food and stuff like that. So, yeah. So you basically just did what I was talking about in the podcast.
Correct, Scott. That's why I love you.
Well, and it worked.
Yes, it works.
Yes.
Why did you want to come on the podcast, Sarah?
Because I wanted to show other parents, and even if other kids are listening, that you can still be perfectly normal and have this annoying disease, but still live your day-to-day life and enjoy life.
That's awesome.
And I feel like a common misconception when you have this disease is that you have to stop your life and take a moment to learn everything, which is true, you do. But as you're learning, you can keep going.
Yeah.
Like, keep it moving, keep the train moving. The train doesn't stop, and the train is not going to stop for diabetes. So,
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you got a great attitude about it. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that setting you up to be, to have some control over yourself at school goes a long way to getting your self-esteem and confidence rolling in the right direction. I mean, you're obviously having good outcomes. You understand how to use your insulin. That's, I think, a big part of the whole thing. You're confident. Were you a confident person before this?
yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm confident by nature.
Yeah. Being tall doesn't hurt either, huh, Sarah?
And also, I'd like to add on to the nurse thing. That was, like, obviously one of my biggest fears. because there was a girl in my school who was constantly being followed around, and I was not about to be that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as one of my electives at school, I would help in the office, and that's where the nurse was. So I would encounter her whenever I went to my little office help. And she spoke about this other girl and was telling the other office ladies about her health situation. She was diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a violation of privacy. So that was even more of another, like that was just another reason not to use this woman's services.
So you're there horrified listening to her spill the tea on somebody else's life.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa, if you knew me, would you be talking about me like this?
Exactly.
Oh, so you're trying to keep your stuff to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have other people you can talk about it with, though? Do you have some close friends who understand? Like if you were with a group of girls and you got dizzy and you couldn't help yourself, does somebody know what to do?
Yes. My close friends know what to do.
Good.
In that case. Like they see me feeling bad. Like I feel like the first instinct would be, oh, do you need to eat something? Or if it's really bad, they know to use the pen, like the Gvoke HypoPen.
Good.
But I have a good supportive group of friends who look out for me.
Awesome.
So.
And you sound like a reasonable young person, which I'm happy about. You would never drink or do drugs.
No.
Is that right, Sarah?
Yeah.
Right. And if your mom wasn't here, you'd say the same thing?
No, I would definitely say the same because honestly, with diabetes, you have to be even more careful with your health.
You're not looking for extra problems.
Correct.
Yeah. Or to make this harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Do you plan on going away to college?
I do.
Where are you going to go? That's an interesting thing. Like when you live in a place where everybody's trying to get to it, where do you think to go when you're leaving? You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to go to Miami to go to college. Like you're there. So.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like the UM is one of the best universities out there. And if it wasn't 2 minutes away from my house, catch me there.
Well, can I share something with you?
Sure.
My daughter said to us recently, when I was leaving high school, she's like, I thought the worst thing that could happen to me is that I'd be one of those people who went to school 5 minutes from my house. And so I went to this place and then she switched and went somewhere else. And then eventually she's like, I'm just going to come home and finish up at home. And she's like, I don't know if that's the right answer for everybody. She's like, but I do wish I wouldn't have felt so embarrassed by the idea of looking close to home. So I don't know, maybe that won't be your finding, but she's pretty happy with it now.
Oh, that's so nice to hear.
Yeah. But you're getting the hell out of here, huh?
Yeah. I don't think it's an embarrassment thing. I just think like I want to discover something new and get out of my comfort zone a little bit. And I feel like I'm not gonna be able to do that in my same neighborhood with the same circle of people, with like the same support system around me. Like I feel like I have to step out a little bit. And,
I hear you.
And I feel like I've worked so hard and like, I don't know. I want something different.
You're a good student?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it you're interested in?
I'm interested in possibly studying communications or journalism. I'm the editor-in-chief of my school newspaper.
Nice.
And maybe going into law someday. I'm not really sure, but that's the areas I'm interested in.
Where do you think you're going to look at school? Like Mom, how far away is okay?
Yeah. It needs to be a nonstop flight, easy.
Mm-hmm.
East Coast for sure. That's it.
Yeah. What about the weather, Sarah? Are you going to go somewhere cold?
I mean, maybe.
Oh my God. I just want to live somewhere warm so badly. I would.
Where do you live?
In New Jersey.
We can swap.
Yeah. You want to come? Oh, you want to be close to the city.
Maybe.
I'm a 50-minute train ride from Manhattan. Okay. Listen to her laughing. You can't let her out of the house. She's going to. Sarah, you're going to be a problem when you get out of there, aren't you? Listen to her laughing, but you can't let her leave, Patali.
Oh, I'm going to be such a problem.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's awesome. And what do you have? 2 more years?
I'm finishing. I'm in the third quarter of my junior year. Mm-hmm. And then I have my senior year, and then I'll be out.
Okay. Very nice. That's awesome. Hey, listen, I've been wondering this the whole time. It's really not apropos of anything and has nothing to do with your story, but your mom speaks more than one language, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Matilda, I'm sorry. Are you first generation or second?
No, I was born here in the United States. Actually, I was born in Virginia, but I've lived in Coral Gables in my whole life since I was 5 years old.
Okay. Because I have a friend of my daughter's, her mom's first generation from Italy. And she talks a lot about the difficulty she has, like, because her mom struggles with some things, like just, language sometimes, but you guys don't have that issue.
No, my family, my mother was American from the United States, and my father was Colombian from Medellin, Colombia.
Oh, he hooked that mom, huh? Is your mom still alive? Is she okay?
No, my parents have both deceased.
Both.
My
I'm
mother
sorry.
predeceased my father by like 7 months.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sarah, can I ask a weird question? Is it weird to hear your mother say, my dad passed away, I think 5 years ago? Does it make you feel like, oh my gosh, is there going to be a time in life when I don't remember exactly when my parents left? Or is that too deep, or you're young? I don't know if that hit you or not when she said that. I don't want you to cry. You'll be like, no, I'm thinking about it now though. Thanks a lot. But like my mom passed away. I told you, that's why I asked. And like, I'm starting to lose the concept of how long it's been. Difficult.
Yeah, no. And I'm so sorry for your loss,
Thank you.
Scott.
Thank you. But Sarah, back to my question. Do you have like a feeling for like time? Is that something, or are you just so young you do not think about that like that?
No, I do have a feeling of time. I feel like, obviously I was diagnosed. It's almost going to be 4 years, but I feel like it's crazy to think, because I can't believe time has flown by that fast.
How fast?
Not even diabetes related. Like, I can't believe that I'm a junior in high school, starting to look at where I'm going to go to college. Like, it feels unreal.
Right. No, for sure. Do you date?
No.
No. When you think about dating, do you think about the diabetes as well?
Not really, because I don't date.
You're like, I don't need any of that problem. But is that because you can't find, you're just not interested in it right now? You're busy with your other stuff?
Yeah, I'm like busy with my own life.
Okay. And you don't want to bring somebody else into it, and then you have to give time to something or somebody else. Is that right?
Yeah, I guess I'm just protecting my peace.
Yeah. You're telling me there's a lot of crazy people at that school. You can't find one that you think is normal? Listen, I love it when she laughs when she doesn't want to answer, Vitali. That's my favorite part of Sarah.
I think everything is meant to happen for a reason, and when it's the right time, it'll be the right time.
And you won't have trouble when that time comes. You won't have trouble sharing your diabetes with somebody else.
No.
Okay. It's not a thing you'll want to keep private? I
don't think so.
Okay. So it's interesting. So your problem with an insulin pump isn't that somebody will see it. It's that it literally is that it's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't mind people. Do you inject in public? Do people see you inject your insulin?
I do inject in public.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Isn't it great that she's not dating?
She can, my kids can, they don't have a curfew. They can go out. I always know where they are. They always call me, text me. The culture here is, in Miami, to enjoy life, go out, be with your friends, have a good time. She's super responsible. If she wanted to date somebody, she's more than allowed, of course. But she's very busy with working out, studying, with her friends. Yeah, she's very busy.
You see what your mom's doing? It's genius. She's not holding on tight so you don't feel restricted, and therefore you don't feel like you have to like push back.
Exactly.
Did you know she was doing that to you?
Like, not really.
No. Matilda, how did you figure it out? Did your parents treat you the same way, or did they try to restrict you and you rebelled?
No. I had a boyfriend my whole life. Always. But that was just how it was. I always had a little boyfriend, and I think it's super healthy and super nice.
Yeah.
And then you end up graduating and getting a great husband, like what happened to me.
Very nice.
But I will tell you something. I want to tell you this, Scott, so the parents know. My kid, remember, she missed the sleepaway camp when she was diagnosed because she was supposed to leave in 3 weeks.
Right.
The sleepaway camp, they don't have diabetic kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next year came, and I was like, oh my God, are we going to send her? Because my youngest wanted to go too. I had to do a lot of mental gymnastics, and we had to do a lot of conference calls we did like conference calls with the camp. Like I pushed myself and I pushed Sarah. She was a mom. I don't think I want to go. And I was like, you're going. Because a mom that I met, a type 1 mom that has 2 type 1 kids in this Miami area, she told me, if you were going to do it before diabetes, you got to do it after. And so I pushed myself, pins and needles shaking, but you're going. Of course, the camp made the exception to allow her to have the cell phone, which these camps are cell phone free, but she has to keep it. So that's why, in preparation for if she wanted to leave her house, Scott, I've lived in Miami. I went to undergraduate school here and graduate school here. I didn't move out of my house until I was 28, until I bought my own little apartment. Like I'm a home girl.
Yeah. You're moving slowly. You're doing things very specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to just for her to have the tools, like, okay, if you want to go. But, get some practice, So
you're not in any rush to leave either? Sarah, like you think it's possible you'll go to college, then come back home?
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, listen, you're going to need to save some money. This stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Is that a thing you think about? Like my daughter talks about that sometimes. Like, how do I make sure I can pay for my health insurance as an adult when I'm by myself and everything? Is that something that's entered into your mind yet? You're a little young. You might not have.
Not really.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought about it either. I don't think at your age.
I see the price of things nowadays. It's crazy. So I just know I'm going to have to work really hard in general.
Yeah, it is true. Keep making good decisions and moving forward and stuff comes together.
Absolutely. And my daughters have faith in God, and they put God first to make good decisions. Yes, absolutely. She's going to be fine. Yeah. One day at a time.
Sarah, if you're a person like your mom describes who, has a religious belief in holding, is there a feeling, do you ever think about like, why did I get this?
Oh, definitely.
What have you figured out so far when you mull that over?
So yeah, first when I was diagnosed, I was obviously very confused, and I always thought, why do I have this? Why me? And honestly, even on the hard days, I still feel that way sometimes, but you go through like ups and downs. Some days are harder than others, and it's hard because sometimes when you're having a hard day, you see others having like an easy day, but they probably have issues in their life that you don't know about. But this is just the issue I have to carry with me for the rest of my life. But hard to accept at first. But now I know that I guess I know it was meant to happen to me. And I think it's made me into a stronger person.
I bet it has. What constitutes a hard day?
Probably like the sensor being like all messed up.
Okay.
Or like a hard night.
Where you have to put in more extra effort or technology doesn't work the way you expect it to. Boy, you know what? I know this is not a thing you have context for, but I've spoken to people who've been living with diabetes for all different lengths of time. And I'm happy that what constitutes a hard day for you is that your sensor didn't act right, or that you had a blood sugar you had to fight with a little extra longer, because that is such a better situation for people with diabetes. And it makes me excited for what a hard day will sound like 10 years from now. Do you ever think about like the algorithms that are available in the automated systems and how they might help you overnight? Like, do you ever think like, oh, maybe I should just get a pump?
No, not really, because I have my sensors get faulty a lot, I'd say. Mm-hmm. So it tells me I'm low a lot when I'm actually not low, and it'll just mess up my numbers.
Possibly, yeah. It is part of it for sure. It doesn't end up being as impactful as you think, but I just wondered if you ever thought about like, well, maybe this thing, if I'm asleep at 2 a.m. and my blood sugar starts to drift up, this thing will push it back down and take care of it without me having to wake up. Yeah, see? Or if you try to get low, it can stop you from getting low, so it doesn't happen as often if it is happening. Do you get low overnight ever?
Not really.
Okay. Are you more higher when it's an overnight issue?
Yes.
Okay. And how often does that happen?
How often am I high overnight?
I would say, let's call it a few nights a month.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Scott, there's 2 reasons she doesn't want to use a pump.
Okay.
Number 1 is because the amount of insulin she uses.
Small
she
amount.
uses, like, her basal is very low. Her carb ratio is like for 10 carbs, 1 unit.
Yeah.
Her insulin needs maybe are a little low for, let's call it, for the regular Omnipod.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is because she doesn't want it on her body. For me, she doesn't want people to see it.
Yeah.
And plus, she likes to keep, those things irritate the body.
Mm-hmm.
They irritate the skin. We've done a lot of things. We do a patch under the Dexcom, and then we put the Dexcom on. We treat the skin. We put a patch. Then we put the Dexcom. Then we put another patch. We have like a whole system to protect her skin. So that's like another thing, Yeah. And then here they're in the bikini and the small clothes. So it's like,
just not looking for extra. Listen, I don't not understand. I was just wondering if she'd thought about like the idea of an algorithm being helpful to her. That's all.
Sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
Like, I think if her body needed it, and I think she would do it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you don't know. Like, she could also do this, Sarah, you might do injections your whole life and just be like, hey, I'm great at this and it works for me. That'd be awesome too. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way. I was just wondering. Have I skipped anything, missed anything at all? Is there anything we forgot to talk about or something you wanted to talk about? I want to make sure I don't miss anything because there's 2 of you and it's a little more confusing for me.
Ultimately, I think the most important thing is, as a parent, you're the one that has to advocate for your kid. You're the one that needs to get educated and learn how to really manage this condition, because the diabetic educator that you see 3 to 4 times a year for max 30 minutes to an hour, they can help, but they can't manage the day-to-day. You got to figure that stuff out on your own.
Yeah.
And that's where your podcast is. So what you've done for the type 1 community is like, congratulations.
Well,
thank you. I really, really appreciate you and what you've done for our community.
Well, that is very kind of you. And it's my pleasure. I very much enjoy making the podcast. So you don't really have to thank me for it, but I will accept your thanks and I will carry them throughout my day. I'm just very happy. Like to hear you talk about, some of the things you've had success with and how things are working for you guys. Anyway, what is my last question for Sarah? I have one last question. You're so young. I don't know if it's too early, but do you ever think about having kids?
Yeah, I do.
You do. And is that a thing that has changed for you since you have diabetes, or has it not changed for you how you think about it?
No, I actually wonder about that sometimes. Like, how's that going to work? Caring for a human in your body while caring for yourself.
Yeah. It can be a lot of work. There's a ton of information, and a lot of ladies have shared their stories in the podcast. If you ever get closer to thinking about it, you can listen to them. They'll talk about how their insulin needs change and shift throughout pregnancy and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting, actually. I have no more questions. I feel like you guys did such a great job of telling your story. I feel like I feel done.
Aw, Scott, thanks a million.
Thank you so much.
For real.
No, really, you guys are terrific. This was lovely of you to do. I appreciate you taking your time. Sarah, why are you not at school? What's going on?
For this podcast.
Oh, nice. Got a day off?
Yeah.
Will you go in late or no? Forget it.
No, I'm not going to go in late. I'm not going today.
She's super responsible. She can miss today. It's not a problem.
Today. Well, that's very nice. I'm glad that it seemed important enough for you to do something like that. Thank you. Seriously, hold on 1 second for me. I really appreciate this. Touched by Type 1 sponsored this episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Check them out at touchedbytype1.org on Instagram and Facebook. Give them a follow, Go check out what they're doing. They are helping people with type 1 diabetes in ways you just can't imagine. Head now to tandemdiabetes.com/juicebox and check out today's sponsor, Tandem Diabetes Care. I think you're going to find exactly what you're looking for at that link, including a way to sign up and get started with the Tandem Mobi system. Are you tired of getting a rash from your CGM adhesive? Give the Eversense 365 a try. Eversense CGM.com/juicebox. Beautiful silicone that they use. It changes every day, keeps it fresh. Not only that, you only have to change the sensor once a year. So, that's better. Okay, well, here we are at the end of the episode. You're still with me? Thank you. I really do appreciate that. What else could you do for me? Why don't you tell a friend about the show or leave a 5-star review? Maybe you could make sure you're following or subscribed in your podcast app. Go to YouTube and follow me, or Instagram, TikTok. Oh gosh, here's one. Make sure you're following the podcast in the private Facebook group as well as the public Facebook page. You don't want to miss, please. Do you not know about the private group? You have to join the private group. As of this recording, it has 74,000 members. They're active, talking about diabetes. Whatever you need to know, there's a conversation happening in there right now. And I'm there all the time. Tag me. I'll say hi. If you're new to type 1 diabetes, begin with the Bold Beginnings series from the podcast. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what reviewers have said. Bold Beginnings is the best first step. I learned more in those episodes than anywhere else. This is when everything finally clicked. People say it takes the stress out of the early days and replaces it with clarity. They tell me this should come with the diagnosis packet that I got at the hospital. And after they listen, they recommend it to everyone who's struggling. It's straightforward, practical, and easy to listen to. Bold Beginnings gives you the basics in a way that actually makes sense. The Juicebox Podcast is edited by Wrong Way Recording. WrongWayRecording.com. If you'd like your podcast to sound as good as mine, check out Rob at WrongWayRecording.com.